I wouldn't call myself a mystery enthusiast. I do appreciate the mystery aspect in a story as a viewer, even if it's just the basic element of wanting to know the plot's end result. Because chances are that our main character is going to pull through in the end, but we want to know how they overcome the obstacle before them. This is why mystery-centered shows never really caught my attention. I was already satisfied with my battle shonen and action-adventure fantasy and isekai, so Detective Conan was never on my list. It also took me a while to bring myself to watch Death Note, only to find out that procrastinating on it was actually a mistake. I did not do the same thing with this summer's Undead Girl Murder Farce. This show is alright, better than alright actually. This is really good. You could chalk it up to the historical time setting or the supernatural characters are what caught my eye, but really I don't know. Anyways, on with the review. Suguru is a hybrid Oni or demon who teams up with vampire head in a birdcage Aya, accompanied by faithful maid Shizuku to find the man who took away their humanity and immortality respectively. This is pretty much the overarching plot, but the whole first season is about them solving a few criminal cases, making a name for themselves across Europe and encountering other well-known fictional characters living in the post-French Revolution time. The relationship between the three main characters carry the show. Being a light novel adaptation generally means you're going to be subdued by a lot of dialogue. However, Studio Lapin made sure that their interactions with each other and the other cast doesn't put you to sleep. Suguru reminds me of that old geezer or uncle in your family that makes offhand jokes for his own amusement. He was already well versed in combat as a demon hunter, but due to being on the verge of becoming the very thing he's trained to slay, few things in this world can defeat him one-on-one with the supernatural buffs he's received. His carefree nature is in line with his strength, kinda like another super overpowered character in another series that's still airing. Moving on, Aya shares a similar sixth sense of humour to Suguru. She's been a vampire for nearly a century, so you could argue that she needs something to stave away eternal boredom. To slow his demon transformation in exchange for his cooperation, Aya regularly gives Suguru her immortal saliva. So if you've already seen a snippet of them kissing without any context, you're welcome. As you might well have guessed, while Suguru is the brawn, Aya is the brains of the operation. The slow pace of the detective work allows you to try and predict what's going to happen, but I immediately gave up doing that when I got the sneaky suspicion that Aya has already figured everything out early on in the first case. From then on, I just took a back seat and enjoyed the rest of the show like a casual viewer. Shizuku is a devoted servant to Aya who will slap anybody's shit at the slightest hint of disrespect shown to her master, though she seems to take pleasure in doing that to Suguru, probably because the show heavily implies there is more than a working relationship between her and Aya. The story is set in an alternate timeline in the 19th century where supernatural beings and humans coexist. Two of the main characters are supernatural beings and look the eccentric part, unlike in the manga where they look more like normal people. It's also worth noting that Suguru, Aya and Shizuku are not good people despite their good deeds. They are just trying to reclaim what was respectively stolen from them in what they deem is the most efficient way possible. There aren't a lot of action scenes, but when they appear they look really good. Almost feels like you're being rewarded for patiently watching the Cluedo-like sequences play out. And it's not just Suguru that gets in on the action. Shizuku shows why she's a trusted servant and does more than her share of the work in their crime-solving escapades. This is a creepy murder mystery show with an overarching plot. If you're stuck on waiting for the next episode of Jujutsu Kaisen, or you're lost after having finished watching the latest part of Bleach or Mushoku Tensei, give this a watch. I can't say it's better than either of those shows, but I've got my personal bias. I like my battle shonen and peak isekai, so for me to say that Undead Murder Farce contends with them in quality entertainment shouldn't be taken lightly. That's it, that's the end of the video. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like. Helps this video get round to other people and I'd really appreciate it. Leave a comment down below, I reply to those. Roll safe.